Hi everyone and welcome back again, and today we are again going to look at how to determine the equation of a parabola if the following information is given to us. Now here we are given the x-intercept, we're given the y-intercept and one other point on the parabola. Now again, to solve the equation of this parabola, we are going to look at our different general equations. Now here we have fx is equal to ax squared plus q, and we know we are not going to use this as a starting point because this turning point is here to the right of our y-axis. So the parabola moved to the right, and this general equation does not include left or right movements. So if we go to this form of ax squared plus bx plus c, we will probably use this one because we know what the y-intercept is. And the y-intercept is given as -7. So all that we're going to do now is we're going to substitute this -7 into the place of c. So let's go and write this general equation as fx is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, because this will be our starting point. Now in the place of c, I'm going to put this -7, and as you can see, I left empty spaces here for this x as well as that x and for the y. Now, why did I do that? Because we are going to take this other point and we are going to substitute the x coordinate into x's place and the y coordinate into y's place. So let's do it. In the place of this x, I'm going to put this 8, there it is, and in the place of this x, I'm also going to put this 8, there we go. And then in the place of y, I'm going to put this 9, and there it is. So now we just do the math on this side, and we can see that 8 squared is 64. 64 times a is 64a, there it is. And 8 times b is plus 8b, and then we have the -7 that we can take to that side, and it becomes a +7, and then we can say 9 plus 7 is 16, and there we go. So this is now an equation that contains two variables, so I'm going to call this my equation 1. Now, how about finding another equation that contains a and b? And that's quite easy because we've got one other point. So again, I'm just going to write down the general equation of fx is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. And we have the y-intercept, so I'm going to put it into c's place, and there it is. And again, I left an empty space for this x as well as for that x and for the y, because now we're going to take the other point on the parabola and substitute it into x and y's place. Now, what are the coordinates of this x-intercept? Well, it is -1 and 0, because remember, on the x-axis, our y-coordinate is always 0. So in the place of this x, I'm going to put this -1, and there it is. And in the place of this x, I'm going to put this -1, and there it is. And in the place of the y, I'm going to put this 0 coordinate, and there I write it in. So now we can do the math. So -1 to the power of 2 is 1, and 1 times a is a. And -1 times a positive b is -b, and then I take this -7 to the other side, becomes a +7, and 0 plus 7 is 7. And there we go. Now this is another equation that contains the same two variables a and b, so we can call it our second equation, but I'm gonna just quickly change it for now. I'm going to write this equation in terms of a. So I'm going to take this -b to the other side, and then we're going to have 7 plus b is equal to a, and I'm going to call this equation my number 2. Now the reason I did this was so that I can substitute the 7 plus b in a's place in the first equation, okay, because we're going to use the substitution method to solve for a and b. Now let's go and see how we can do that. Now, as I said, we're going to make use of the substitution method. So I'm going to substitute 7 plus b equals a into equation 1. Now, our equation 1 was 16 equals 64a plus 8b. So in the place of a, I'm going to put 7 plus b. So let's do it. 16 is equal to 64, and in the place of a, we put the 7 plus b in brackets plus 8b. Then I'm going to do the distributive law, and we end up with the 16, and 64 times 7 is 448, and 64 times b is 64b, and we write down the 8b. Now 64b plus 8b gives us 72b, and this 448 goes to that side, becomes minus 448, and 16 minus 448 gives us minus 432. So if we want to solve for b, we take this constant and we divide it with the coefficient. So minus 432 divided by a positive 72 gives us minus 6. So b is equal to minus 6. Okay, excellent. Now we just need to solve for a. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute this b, which is minus 6, into any one of those two equations that we found earlier. Now I'm just going to substitute this b equals minus 6 into our equation 2. And if you remember from earlier, our equation 2 was 7 plus b is equal to a. So in the place of b, we're just going to put this minus 6. So 7 plus a minus 6 in the place of b is equal to a. And this is the same as 7 minus 6. So a is equal to 1. And now we can write our equation out. So therefore fx is equal to, and then our a is a 1, so it's going to be 1x squared, and I don't have to write the 1. And then our bx, so we're going to have minus 6 for b, minus 6x, and then we are going to have the minus 7 for our y-intercept. And there is our equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, and we're done. So please remember, in this method, we are looking for the information where we have 2 points on a parabola as well as the y-intercept, and then we make use of this method. See you again next time. Bye.